Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, for the first time ever, I'm going to be showing you my watch collection. For people who are familiar with my channel, you probably know that once a year I usually do the state of collection from my cigar humidor, so I show all the cigars that I have, but this is the first iteration of my watch collection review, and I'm very happy to be doing this actually because I'm very curious to see in the comments what you actually think of my watch collection. So first things first, what do we even consider watch collection to be? Some people would say you need to at least have 3 watches, probably a diver or any kind of sports watch, a chronometer and a dress watch. That would probably be the basic watch collection. Some people would even say that 2 watches can also make a collection, but some people don't consider anything under, I don't know, 5 or 10 watches to be a watch collection, and there are people who have like plenty of watches. For myself, and I wouldn't be very snobby about it, I think anything that you guys consider to be your watch collection, it probably is. Anything from 2 watches and up is probably a great start for a watch collection. So, if you've been paying attention to my channel, then you probably already saw some of the watch reviews that I did, and you can probably then assume which watches are part of my collection, but there are also some that I haven't shown before, which are not as luxurious and attractive as you would probably expect, but still there's a story behind them. So before I start with the very first watch that I ever bought for myself, let me tell you a very short story about how I got into watches. So when I was a kid back in 1990s, my mom and dad used to buy me those Casio digital watches, you know, that little black one that was very popular. That's the one I owned as well. And I think I even changed 2 or 3 of those because every time it broke down, I wanted to have the same watch, and I was replacing batteries all the time because it was on my wrist every second of the day. And I really enjoyed it. I knew every function there is on it and I really used them. So that was how I got into watches. After that, in high school and beginning of college, I was considering getting a more serious and appropriate watch for my age. So back in my early college days, when I was still playing football or soccer for Americans on a semi-professional level, I got some money and I decided to buy myself my first appropriate serious watch. And back then I was really into Jacques Le Mans, believe it or not, and this is the first watch that I got. I don't even know what reference it is anymore, or if they even had references, but it was quite a simple watch and I was wearing it a lot. It got a lot of scratches and I was replacing a strap on it quite a lot of time, but it was cool because they always had the original strap that this watch came with. So this was my very first watch. I really wore the hell out of that one. After that, I was still in Jacques Le Mans, and when I was graduating from my college, my parents wanted to buy me something, and I asked them for a watch. And I wanted to have a dress watch, and it also had to be Jacques Le Mans, and it was this Jacques Le Mans. It's a chronograph. It has a gold-plated bezel with gold-plated pushers and the crown. Nothing too special. The leather is pretty comfortable on it, and actually this is a very special watch for me, even though I don't wear it as much, but it has a very sentimental value for me because my parents engraved on the back of the watch, they engraved from parents and then the date of my graduation day. So very special watch for me. I will never get rid of it, even though I'm not wearing it, but it has a very huge sentimental value. Some years later, I bought myself another watch, which I wanted to be like a summer dressy watch, like my beater watch per se, and I bought this Festina. I don't even know which model it is, and the rubber strap on this one has been broken because I haven't wore it in years now, and I probably won't. I don't even know why I'm keeping it anymore. So those are all the watches that you didn't know that I have, and then we can move on to the watches that you probably know that I have. So before I show you the next watch, I want to show you where I'm keeping my watches. So I'm storing my watches in this Benson watch winder. It's made out of the high gloss wood. Obviously comes in white. They also come in other different colors, and you are able to store 5 watches in this one. 3 of them are in the top right here, and then 2 of them are actually in the winder itself right here. What's cool about this watch winder is that for these winding slots you can set them up separately however you want them to turn, and then there's also like a really cool light that you can turn on that lights up these 2 watches. So very cool feature. So the first watch I wanted to show you is this Casio G-Shock, popularly called Cassioak because of its resemblance of Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Quite a funny name. And the reference number of this watch is GA21001A1ER. And you would actually be surprised to know how much I actually wear this watch, because I'm a sports guy. I usually go out for runs between spring and fall almost every second day. And also when I'm traveling to different hotels, I usually go to gym in the mornings, and that's where I wear it. And it's very good for me if I need to use stopwatch or just basically tell time. It's very light on the wrist, and I like that it's a very beater-like watch. So yeah, it's actually being used quite a lot on my wrist. The next one I want to show you is this Seiko Sports 5 model, gold plated. It's a classic Seiko diver, Seiko Sports 5, and I also made a video on it, which is where I called it my guilty pleasure watch. Why it's my guilty pleasure watch? Because it's very shiny, and it's something that's not very usual for my watch collection, but I do like to wear it. I like to wear it, I like to pair it with black, with dark blue, navy blue colors, and because I do have a darker tan than your average person, it fits me very well, I would say. It has a beautiful rotating bezel, which produces amazing clicking sound that every dive watch fan loves, and it's aligning beautifully at 12 o'clock. But I'm actually considering making an upgrade from this watch to something else. So I'll probably need to make some room, and I'm seriously considering selling it, but I haven't made the final decision yet. So stay tuned. It does sit very well on my wrist, doesn't it? Especially now since I'm pretty tanned after my summer vacation. It looks pretty nice on my wrist. Alright, moving on to my latest acquisition, which is Mercier Riviera 39, their newest release from this year's Watches and Wonders. And this watch has been on my wrist pretty much the whole summer. It's been kind of my beater watch, if you can call it that, but I've been enjoying it because it's very light, the rubber strap is extremely comfortable. It's what they call a two-tone, because between the bezel and the case there is this rose gold plate, which is pretty attractive looking, and rose gold is also present on dial markers, so pretty nice aesthetics on the watch. And in case you haven't noticed, it's a very sporty looking watch, resemblances of Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, but more on that you can see in my Mercier Riviera 39 watch review, which I covered. And I've been extremely happy with this watch so far, so it's definitely going to be staying in my collection for quite some time to come. As I was mentioning in the review video, I would like to try on some new straps on this one. This grayish kind of one fits the watch beautifully, as it has a similar colored titanium bezel, but I would like to experiment with it a bit because I do think it has some potential to be even more attractive on different strap variations. But either way, absolutely in love with this watch, and it's an amazing watch. It has an amazing industry-leading movement, which has a power reserve of 120 hours. What more can you ask for? And it has this amazing transparent dial from which you can see the movement actually both from the front and the back of the watch. And moving on to the final two watches of my collection, which are displayed in this lower bottom of this watch winder. They're actually winding most of the time. And why this watch winder is pretty cool is because it has this little pusher button here on the side that opens this display door. So let's get on with the first one, and this is the staple of my collection, as you already know. This is a Rolex GMT Master 2, reference number 126710 BLNR, which is what they also call a Batman or a Batgirl because it's on a Jubilee bracelet. This is the watch that I had for around a year and a half now, and it clearly has a lot of wrist time for me. So I'm enjoying it still quite a bit as I had from the first day. It's a very special watch for me from various reasons that I also covered in the watch review video of this one. So feel free to go and check it out. And this is probably going to be in my ownership forever. There's no way I'm trading it or selling it for anything in this world. Has a very high sentimental value for me. It's a beautiful watch for me. It's my grail watch, aside from other one or two watches that I consider also to be my grail watches, but this is definitely one of those. Rolex GMT Master 2 Batman. And then my final watch is actually my first luxury watch. This is the entry piece into the luxury watches world for me. And as you can imagine, as most of the people start with, it's Omega. It's Omega Speedmaster Automatic. It's not a professional, so it's not a moon watch, but I think this is what they used to call reduced version. And the reason I decided to buy this watch is because obviously I had a budget that could accommodate getting this watch, and I was mad about Panda dials. So this was the Panda dial that I was able to find, which was within my budget range. It actually comes on a bracelet originally, but I like to experiment with the straps on this watch quite a lot. And first I even used a burgundy leather strap on it, which I think complemented it quite nicely because of the red details on the dial. But then this summer I changed it to this black rubber strap because I think it gives it much more summery and sportier look. As you can see. And I actually think that out of all the watches that I have, this one is actually a strap monster. A lot of different straps go very well on this watch. Wouldn't you agree? It's just amazing. I think that at some point I will be moving up and upgrading from this watch to some different and other chronograph. And I already do have some pieces in mind, but I'm not going to reveal them just yet. This one is going to be staying in my collection for a little while. So guys, that's all for this video. Before you leave, please leave a comment and grade my watch collection. Let me know what you think I'm missing. What do you think about the watches that I have? And I'm just curious in generally what you think about the collection and overall. I would really appreciate that feedback from you. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye!